Hope you had a good Saturday. Certainly was quiet around Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. A lot of sunshine out there. Temperatures warming well above freezing. We saw some melting out there. Good news for those area roadways. Certainly Mother Nature aiding those road crews that have been working around the clock to make those roads a little bit safer for travel. Here's the thing. While they did get better today, we do have that potential for some more black ice. These are the numbers we're looking at overnight tonight. Many of us in the mid to upper 20s, so it's going to get cold enough that not only could there be some additional black ice on those roadways developing, just like last night, we also see the potential for some additional freezing fog. We'll dive straight into that in just moments. First, a check of your forecast tomorrow across Northwest Arkansas. We're going to have a few more clouds in the area. We do expect a cold front to be making its way through Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And as a part of that, we'll see a few clouds. Not expecting much to develop from those clouds in terms of precipitation, chances of rain 10% or less, but it will be partly to mostly cloudy at times. Despite that, temperatures are still going to warm up near where they did today. Maybe in some locations a degree or two warmer. Largely we'll see those highs tomorrow in the low to mid 40s. We're tracking a little bit of weather for you. First of which is a quiet weather week. That's good. We need some quiet weather around these parts with temperatures beyond the cold front slowly warming up towards the end of the week. Something to look forward to. But unfortunately, right on the heels of that warm up, another Arctic blast is likely. Let's dive straight into it. Futurecast, we can put this into motion. We'll see those temperatures falling pretty steadily into the overnight hours. While the temperatures are falling, fog is developing. Initially, our fog predictor indicates that that fog is likely to develop in the Arkansas River Valley first. This is a little after midnight tonight. And we'll see more fog moving into the area. Patchy in nature more than likely, but wherever that fog sets up, it's likely to result in some additional slick spots. It's called freezing fog, and a lot of folks haven't ever heard of freezing fog, but it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just regular old fog that happens to form when temperatures are below freezing here at the surface. That starts to create some slick spots out there. It often develops into a very thin layer of ice on roads, bridges, overpasses initially, of course cars, things like that as well. Pretty much anything it touches. Fog is really just a cloud that develops at the surface. So what is a cloud? Well, a cloud is just some suspended water droplets. And so when those water droplets are developing that cloud or that fog here at the surface, temperatures below freezing, you start to freeze. It's very, very basic 8th grade science at its core. So I say all of that to say this. Not only do we have the potential for additional black ice just as a result of the runoff from the melting today, it looks like some freezing fog could also create some additional slick spots. Once we start to warm up tomorrow morning, as that sun rises, this is where we probably end up. 39, Centerton, Eureka, Garfield, Pea Ridge. 41, your high temperature likely tomorrow in Bella Vista with a high very similar to that of 40 in Fayetteville, 37 Winslow, 39 over in Prairie Grove. 40 your high tomorrow in Mountainburg. Also the number you can expect there in Cedarville, Alma. Low to mid 40s out there. I do think the further south you go, maybe places like Waldron, Podo, you're going to be impacted by that cold front a little bit later, just given your geography. You're further away from it. So you probably do have a window in which the further south or east you are, you probably do warm up a little bit more before that cold front gets to you. Winds will shift back out of the northwest behind that front, and that's likely the only thing you'll really notice in terms of rain, precipitation, clouds. And that front does drop us a couple of degrees by Monday, but look what happens by next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, we start to warm things back up. Heading into the low to mid 50s Wednesday and Thursday. Don't get used to it though. Unfortunately, we see Saturday, about a week from now, we start to find those numbers dropping nearly 10 degrees in a matter of 24 hours. That's another blast of cold Arctic air that's moving this direction. The latest from the Climate Prediction Center suggests between the January 19th and January 25th window, we'll see a big old blast of cold Arctic air coming in straight out of Canada. You can really see it, the footprint. Canada opens up their back door and it just spills all into the lower 48. Pretty much the entire country, with the exception of folks in southern Florida, are likely going to be below average. So if you're looking for a warm spot to go, Miami might be it for you. It's going to get cold around here, colder than it typically is. We very well could see temperature anomalies 20 to 30 degrees below average for this time of the year. So that again puts us in the position of looking at patterns. There is going to be the potential for another winter storm. Will it be exactly like what we just dealt with? Who knows? At this point, it's too far out to tell. I think the odds are probably low, just given what we just experienced was somewhat of an anomaly. Wasn't necessarily record-breaking, but storms like that don't happen often around here. So all that to be said, we're 7 to 10 days out. What we can do responsibly at this point, is to analyze patterns. We see the cold coming together. Now we need to see if there's going to be any moisture to interact with that cold Arctic air. It looks like that very well could be a potential, but a lot of things change back and forth. It's almost like a windshield wiper effect when we're looking at the weather model 7 to 10 days out or even beyond that. Things will go back and forth, back and forth. What is consistently showing up in our data is the cold blast of Arctic air. I think it is definitely going to get very cold. I don't know if that moisture is going to be there. Once we get 4 to 6 days out, so I'm thinking here in a matter of just a few days, we'll probably have a better idea of precipitation type, if any at all, and some general timing. At best, right now, I could tell you it could be this following weekend into the first part of the following week. So around, let's say, the 17th through 21st, that window, somewhere in there. And of course, when it comes to specific details of how much of what type of precipitation, rain, sleet, snow, a mix of all of the above, you name it, we're looking at 1 to 3 days out. We kind of just went through this, so I know a lot of this is fresh on your mind, but the reason I spend so much time pointing this out is you're going to start to see a whole bunch of junk being posted online, often from nameless accounts that say you're going to get a foot of snow again or brace for a historic ice storm. It's always hype. It's always just sensational, right? That's not responsible. We don't do that around here. We want to take a very responsible approach. This is what that looks like. Stay with us. Stay tuned. The second we know something, we'll pass it along to you. Your 10-day forecast shakes out like this. 40 under a partly cloudy sky tomorrow. It's going to be cold Monday as those kids head back to the bus stop. 17 degrees out the front door. Let's bundle up. 38 in the afternoon. That's the coldest day of the week before we embark on that warming journey, taking us to the mid-50s in northwest Arkansas. Here's where things get a little bit tricky. That cold Arctic air gets here. There is some evidence there could be some moisture. Chances of that right now, notably low, but chances nonetheless. Going into the following week, highs may not make it out of the mid to upper 20s. That is definitely a blast of very cold Arctic air in the River Valley. Expect much of the same. Low 40s tomorrow, partly cloudy sky. Not a bad day, certainly. Monday is going to be the coolest day of the week before we start to see those numbers gradually climb back into the upper 50s as we round out the work week. That's a nice change. Don't get used to it. By Saturday, Sunday, certainly in the following Monday, we are feeling cold out there. We'll keep you posted as things become more clear and this forecast evolves right here on 5 Plus exclusively, the only place you can find a 10-day forecast in northwest Arkansas or the River Valley that's locally made by local meteorologists.